Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Armstrong State University in Savannah, Georgia. At the ARC, as we get their starters down for both teams. I apologize. Sorry about that, folks. Cortland Hendricks here at the ARC in Savannah, Georgia, at Armstrong State University, as we get set for Peach Belt Conference volleyball action between the two teams tied for first place in the Peach Belt, the Lander University Bearcats and Armstrong State University Pirates. Armstrong State at 21-6 overall, while the Lander Bearcats are 20-9 overall. However, both teams hold a 6-2 match in the Peach Belt as we get set for action. Pirates still on the court, getting ready to warm up. We'll use this time to take a break to introduce you to our Armstrong players.
Will Condon, head volleyball coach.
Jenny Holste, assistant coach.
Candace Medlinski, grad assistant.
I forgot what I was going to say. I was like, wait, okay.
Natalie Edgeworth, setter libero, Atlanta, Georgia.
Brenda Spud, outside hitter, Page, Arizona.
Casey Howard, libero, Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, I want to say hey.
Nikki Yates, libero, Short, Illinois.
Tori Bevelow, outside St. Louis, Missouri.
Gwen Clark, right side hitter. Wait, no, start over.
Casey Richards, middle hitter, Venice, Florida.
Hannah Segewart, setter, Littleton, Colorado.
Gwen Clark, right side, Boulder, Colorado.
I'm here just for playing, you know. I don't care where they're going to put me.
Michelle Remlier, middle hitter, Colorado, Ohio.
Brittany Vidovich, middle hitter, San Pedro, California.
Amy Berkemeyer, outside hitter, Columbus Grove, Ohio.
Marina Marinova, setter, Sofia, Bulgaria.
Cortland Hendricks back here at the ARC Aquatic Recreation Center at Armstrong State University in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. Peach Belt volleyball action here as Lander University Bearcats get ready to take on your Armstrong Atlantic State University Pirates. As it's dressed like a pirate night here, as more and more people are starting to show up, just like Pirates. A couple game notes here for you. The Pirates, for the Armstrong University State Pirates. Pirates are coming off a 3-1 win at Augusta State on Wednesday night. Freshman Tori Bavolo collected 16 kills and 20 digs in the win, while Rindy Vidovich notched 14 kills and Hannah Segobart dished out 51 assists, her fifth match this season with 50-plus assists. The win moved AASU into a tie with Lander atop the Peach Belt Conference standings, and a win tonight for the Pirates clinches a tie for the regular season Peach Belt title, which would be AASU's third title in the last 4 seasons. As a team, the Pirates ranked 29th in Division II in hitting percentage, 32nd in assists per game, and 35th in aces and kills per game. Between games 2 and 3 of tonight's match, we will have our Dress Like a Pirate contest. And AASU wraps up the regular season tomorrow with a 3 p.m. match against USC Aiken. There will be a sign contest during the match for prizes, so get creative and show your support for the Pirates tomorrow. For the Bearcats come into tonight's match with a 20-9 overall record and a 6-2 mark in the Peach Belt Conference, tied atop the league standing with the Pirates. Lander's riding a 4-match win streak and defeated UNC Pembroke 25-15, 26-16, 25-16, and 25-15 in its last match on Saturday. The Bearcats have won 6 of their last 7 as well. Freshman Maggie Nottingham was named the Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week on Monday for hitting .276 with 2.82 kills and 4.09 digs per game in Lander's 3 wins last week. Sophomore setter Candace LaRocca was the PBC Specialist of the Week, averaging 11.55 assists per game in the 3 wins. Tonight's match features the 2 top hitting teams in the Peach Belt Conference, with the Pirates at .239 and the Bearcats at .227, both ranking among the national leaders. The 2 teams met earlier this season, with the Pirates taking a 3-1 win at Lander on October 7th, and AASU leads the overall series 21-1. As we said earlier, both these teams are atop the Peach Belt Conference in ties. Are tied at the top of the Peach Belt Conference standings, both at a 6-2 mark. Pirates overall 21-6, and the Lander Bearcats are 20-9. Both teams get ready to take the floor as we get set for starters and the introduction and the national anthem, as we let Chad Jackson, our SID and PA announcer, take over.
Conference volleyball match featuring the Lander Bearcats and
and your Armstrong Atlantic State University Pirates. Ladies and gentlemen, this time we ask that you please rise for the playing of our national anthem. Of Lander University. A 5'11" freshman from Birmingham, Alabama, number 1, Kelsey Risher. A 5'5" freshman from Spartanburg, South Carolina, number 8, Kirsten Stewart. A 5'9" junior from Woodbridge, Virginia, number 9, Ashley Ferry. A 6' freshman from Kennesaw, Georgia, number 10, Kristen White. A 5'6" freshman from Worthington, Ohio, number 11, Abby Fote. Starters tonight for the Bearcats, a 5'10" sophomore from Keystone Heights, Florida, number 2, Mallory Wasik. A 5'4" sophomore from St. Louis, Missouri, number 3, Candace LaRocca. A 5'10" freshman from Indianapolis, Indiana, number 4, Maggie Nottingham. A 5'11" senior from Maple Grove, Minnesota, number 5, Terry Sorensen. Libero, a 5'5" senior from Fort State, Trinidad and Tobago, number 6, Marina Camps. A 5'11" senior from St. Louis, Missouri, number 7, Kay Stewart. And a 5'11" junior from Sacramento, California, number 14, Kendall Ayers. Head coach of the Bearcats is Carla Decker. She is assisted by Sarah Sen. And now for your Armstrong Atlantic State University Pirates. 5'7" freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, number 1, Ashley Edgeworth. 5'9" sophomore from Page, Arizona, number 2, Brendan Budd. A 5'7" junior from Shorewood, Illinois, number 5, Nicole Yates. A 6' junior from Sofia, Bulgaria, number 13, Marina Marinova. A 5'9" junior from Columbus Grove, Ohio, number 15, Amy Burkmeyer. Starters tonight for your Pirates. Libero is a 5'7" freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, number 4, Casey Howitt. A 5'8" freshman from St. Louis, Missouri, number 6, Tori Bevelow. A 6' freshman from Venice, Florida, number 8, Casey Richards. A 5'7" sophomore from Littleton, Colorado, number 9, Hannah Segabart. A 5'11" junior from Superior, Colorado, number 10, Gwendolyn Clark. A 6' junior from Clyde, Ohio, number 11, Michelle Redlinger. And a 6' senior from St. Peter, California, number 12, Wendy Vidovich. Head coach of the Pirates is Will Condon. He's assisted by Jenny Holstein and Candace Malinsky.
Colton Hendricks back here at the ARC in Savannah, at Armstrong Atlantic State in Savannah, Georgia. That was Chad Jackson, our PA announcer for tonight, and the SID. No PA announcer's not here tonight, so Chad will be doing the honors. Like Chad said earlier, we will be having our Just Like a Pirate night between games 2 and 3. Not really that much of a big turnout, but as we get closer and closer to game time, more and more people are starting to show up, showing their pirate spirit. Like we said, both these teams are atop the Peach Belt Conference. ASU at 21-6 overall with a 6-2 mark in the Peach Belt, and Lander Bearcats at 29 overall and 6-2 in the conference as well. Both these teams feature, tonight's match features the two top hitting teams in the Peach Belt Conference, with the Pirates hitting .239 with first place and the Bearcats at .227. As starters get lined up, I said earlier, starting for the Pirates at libero, number 4, Casey Howard, the 5'7" freshman out of Atlanta, Georgia. Starting at outside hitter, Tori Bevelo, the 5'8" freshman, number 6, Tori Bevelo. Starting at middle hitter, the 6-foot freshman, number 8, Casey Richards. Starting at setter, the 5'7" sophomore, number 9, Hannah Segabart. And, starting at right side hitter, Gwen Clark, 5'11" junior. And middle hitter, number 11, Michelle Rimlinger, 6-foot junior. And the only senior on the Pirates roster, middle hitter, at outside hitter, number 12, Randy Vidovich, a 6-foot senior out of California. Pirates at the point here early. As Segabart serving. Segabart, as Vidovich over, is blocked by Ayers. Bevelo's over as it goes off of Camps. Bearcats unable to control it. Point for the Pirates. As the serve goes down, number 2, Mallory Wasick, diving for it, cannot get to it. Segabart still serving. 3-0 Pirate lead here early in game 1. Segabart. Off of number 5, Carrie Sorensen. Bearcats having issues controlling it here early. An ace for Segabart. The Achilles heel of the Pirates this season has been service aces so far. Segabart doing a very nice job behind the line. Segabart to Nottingham, to LaRocca. LaRocca to Sorensen, and Sorensen with the big hit. First points for the Bearcats as LaRocca set to serve, the 5-foot sophomore setter out of St. Louis, Missouri. LaRocca to Howitt, to Segabart. Segabart over to Vidovich. Vidovich is tipped. Sorensen is there. To LaRocca, back to Sorensen. Sorensen is blocked. As Nottingham has it, as it's sent over, Bevelo goes running for it. The line judge calls it out. Look close from here. A point for the Pirates. 5-1 Pirate lead. As Vidovich sets the serve for the Pirates. Sorensen over. Howitt's there. To Segabart. Back to Vidovich. Vidovich hits it off the heel of her hand. Over to Wasick. Wasick back over to Sorensen again. As Rimlinger tips it over, no good. Wasick over to Ayers. Segabart behind her back to Clark. Clark tips it over. She didn't like that one at all. Ayers goes for the kills. It hits off the net. Goes backwards. Point for the Pirates. Bearcats calling for a tip. They're not going to get it. The Bearcats saying it hit off of a Pirate hand. Not going to get the call. Vidovich Camps with the dig. Segabart's there. Rimlinger sends it over. LaRocca to Wasick to Nottingham. Back to LaRocca. Rimlinger tips it over. LaRocca to Wasick to Nottingham. To Clark. Bevelo with the long kill. It is out. Line judge wanted to call it in. No good. It is out. Point for the Bearcats. 6-2 Pirate lead as Carrie Sorensen gets set to serve, the 5'11" senior outside hitter from Maple Grove, Minnesota. Sorensen to Vidovich. Segabart behind her back to Clark. Clark's there. It is tipped with the kill off of Nottingham. It hits off the stick. It is not tipped. Point for the Bearcats. Sorensen serving to Howitt. Segabart. Rimlinger with the big kill. Point for the Pirates. Casey Howitt set to serve for the Pirates. 7-3 Pirate lead. Howitt to Camps. To Wasick. I apologize to LaRocca. LaRocca's called for a double hit on the set. Easy point for the Pirates. 8-3 Pirate lead. As Casey Howitt set to serve once again. Howitt to Sorensen. To LaRocca. LaRocca with the kill, with the pass over to Ayers. Ayers with the kill. Point for the Bearcats. 8-4 Pirate lead still. As Marina Camps gets set to serve, the libero, 5'5" senior out of Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. Camps. Serve is long. As Vidovich and Howitz, watch it flies over their head. Disciplined play there by the Pirate back line. Goes in their favor. Point for the Pirates. Marinova set to serve. Marinova, Sofia, Bulgaria. Marinova to Nottingham, over to LaRocca, back to Sorensen. Richards with the big kill. It is blocked. Vidovich tips it over to Stewart. To Kay Stewart. Got to clarify, 2 Stewarts on the roster, Kay and Kirsten Stewart. Kay Stewart with that one. As Pirates get the point, Marinova set to serve. Marinova to Nottingham. LaRocca called once again for the double hit. 11-4 Pirate lead. Coach Deckard calls a timeout. We'll take one with him. You're listening to Pirate Athletics. Cortland Hendricks back here at the ARC in Savannah, Georgia at Armstrong Atlantic State University for PTBL volleyball action as Armstrong Atlantic State University takes on the Lander Bearcats. 11-4 Pirate lead here early in game 1. First of 3. Marinova serves. Nottingham over to LaRocca. LaRocca sends it to Wassett. Wassett hits it over. Pirates are there. Segabart to Bevelo. Camps is there. Over to LaRocca. LaRocca to Nottingham. Nottingham hits it over. Pirates get it. Vidovich to Bevelo. Bevelo sends it behind her head. Sorensen is there to LaRocca. LaRocca behind her head to Wassett. Hits off the net. Segabart's there to Vidovich. To Howitt. Howitt being only 5'7", had difficulty getting the overhand over the net. She tried to set it over, but I'm not her. Point for the Bearcats. 11-5 Bearcat lead. Pirate lead. As Candace LaRocca set to serve, the 5'4" sophomore setter out of St. Louis, Missouri. I apologize. It's number 9, Ashley Ferry serving. Ferry, the outside hitter and defensive specialist, 5'9" junior out of Woodbridge, Virginia. Point for the Bearcats. 11-6 Pirate lead. Ferry serving. Segabart appeared to hurt her ankle on the play. Her right ankle. Segabart injured herself earlier this year. I believe it was a right ankle sprain as well. As the Pirates athletic trainer Daniel takes a look at her. Nice warm reception from the crowd as she limps off. Brendis Budd coming in. Segabart missed a lot of the action earlier this year. However, Segabart, if she doesn't, we don't get the diagnosis, see what she can do. On the season, Hannah Segabart is averaging 11.58 on the season out of 81 out of 97 matches this season. Games this season. Hopefully she will be okay. Took off her shoe and it's her right ankle, it appears. Ferry to serve. Ferry to Vidovich. To Marinova. The Bevelo with the big kill. But Sorensen is there. Over to LaRocca. LaRocca makes a save. Vidovich to Marinova. To Richards. Richards with the kill. It appeared to be in. However, give it a no-go. Point for the Bearcats as a piece of equipment on the ref stand comes falling off. Piece of padding. Ferry still serving. Ferry to Vidovich. Not really sure what she wanted to do with it. Vidovich was backpedaling towards the back line. If she would have taken it, it appeared that it would have gone. It appeared that it would have gone out the back line as Coach Conant takes a timeout. She couldn't decide if she wanted to underhand it or set it. She's backpedaling, took all the momentum off of it. It just kind of flailed down like a lame duck. 11-8. Pirate lead. Coach Connon calls a timeout. Pirates had a big lead here early. They were up 3-0, and then I believe I remember correctly, it was 8-3. Now it's 11-8. Bearcats on the steady comeback. We said both teams are tied the top of the Peach Belt Conference. Pirates hopefully getting everything straightened out. Trainer's still looking at Hannah Segerbart's right ankle as she sits sprawled out on about 3 different chairs looking at that ankle. Ferry still serving. Ferry to Vidovich to Marinova behind her back to Richards. Richards fists it over. However, nice dig by Ferry. Bevlo give it a go as Kay Stewart and LaRocca were up there. It tits off of her, falls down at their feet. Point for the Pirates. 12-8 Pirate lead. Bevlo set to serving. Bevlo, the freshman out of St. Louis, Missouri. Bevlo to Camps, to LaRocca, to Kay Stewart. Kay Stewart looking like Michael Jordan with the hang time with the kill. Easy point for the Bearcats. Almost appeared Kay Stewart just kind of hung in the air for a while. Serving for the Bearcats, number 4, Maggie Nottingham. Bud with the kind of butterfly as the ball kind of flutters down with the kill. I think it was a mishit right at the feet of all 6 Bearcat players. Point for the Pirates. 13-9 Pirate lead here in game 1. First to 3. Natalie Edgeworth serving. Edgeworth to Nottingham, to LaRocca, over to Kay Stewart. Kay Stewart once again with the big kill. Kay Stewart, the middle hitter, 5'11", senior out of St. Louis, Missouri. One of 3 players on both rosters that are out of St. Louis, Missouri. Double hit called on the Pirates. As Kay Stewart gets set to serve. 13-11 Pirate lead. Stewart hits the net. Service error on the season for Kay Stewart. 21 service errors on the season. 19 service errors to 21 service aces this season. Coach Conner asking the girls to huddle up. Figure everything out. As the refs look making a substitution issue, trying to get everything cleared out. As Brendis Budd is set to serve for the Pirates. Brendis Budd, the 5'9" sophomore outside hitter out of Page, Arizona. Budd hits the net, falls down. As Nottingham goes diving for it, Sorensen shoots it over. Vidovich tips it. Sorensen's there to LaRocca. Marinova with the long set, hits off the net. Sorensen's there to LaRocca, back to Sorensen. Sorensen with the kill. It is blocked by Marinova as Nottingham goes diving forward, slides across her knees. It falls to the ground. Point for the Pirates. 15-11 Pirate lead here. Bud still serving. To Nottingham. Couldn't see the player. Who it was, a Clark. Bearcats are called for going over the net, or excuse me, over the line. Point for the Pirates. As the ARC here tends to fill up. Biggest crowd I have seen since I've been coming to Pirate volleyball games. LaRocca over to Ayers. Ayers with the big kill. 16-12 Pirate lead, diminishing quickly, bouncing back and forth. It goes from a lot to a little. Coach Conner wanted to talk to Vidovich and Clark. LaRocca serving for the Bearcats. LaRocca to Howitt. To Marinova behind her back to Vidovich. Nottingham's there. LaRocca tries to send it over, hits the net. Pirates were able to get it. To Wysack over to Nottingham. Nottingham with the kill as Howitt goes diving for it. Falls Falls right in front of her fist as she hits it and it rolls across the ground. No good. Point for the Bearcats. 16-13 Pirate lead. LaRocca, Howitt, Marinova to Clark. Clark with the big kill. Camps hit it more out of self-defense than really out of volleyball skill. If she wouldn't have hit it, it had definitely been out. However, the benefactor being the Pirates. 17-13 Pirate lead. Vidovich serving to Camps. Camps got low. Camps did a very good job of crashing down and getting the ball up. However, Bearcats not really paying attention. Not one of the Bearcats on the front line could get to it. Another point for the Pirates. And a service ace for Vidovich. Vidovich over to Sorensen. Sorensen hits it over. Almost an easy setup for Bevelo. Bevelo just demolishes that one over the net. As Coach Decker calls for another timeout, Vidovich still serving for the Pirates. Vidovich on the season for serving statistics, she has 16 service aces to 15 service errors. 0.28 service errors a game on the season. They said Coach Decker calling a timeout. 19-13 Pirate lead here early in game one. First of three match between the two teams atop the Peach Belt Conference standings. Armstrong Atlanta State University Pirates and the Lander University Bearcats out of Greenwood, South Carolina. As both teams get back to the floor. Pirates front line doing communication. Bevelo, Marinova, and Clark talking amongst themselves. Vidovich with a quick serve. LaRocca to Ayers. Ayers is denied. LaRocca's there to Sorensen. Over to Wasik. Wasik can't get it over. She gets it over. However, I believe it hit the stick. Out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. 20-13 Pirate lead. Pirates starting to regain that big lead they had earlier. Vidovich to Camps and Nottingham. Over to Wasik. Wasik goes with the kill. However, Clark and Marinova there. Deflecting it down. Rejected. Point for the Pirates. 21-13 Pirate lead. Vidovich another serve to Camps. To LaRocca. To Sorensen. Sorensen with the long kill. That would have been out if Vidovich wouldn't hit it. However, Pirates seem to control it. Marinova. Pirates save themselves there. LaRocca to Ayers. Ayers is denied by Clark. Camps. Sorensen give it another go. Bud is there to Marinova. To Bevelo. Bevelo is hit. Is denied by Ayers and Mallory Wasik. A good set of volleys and turns on both teams there. Point for the Bearcats. As Carrie Sorensen, outside hitter, 5'11", senior at Maple Grove, Minnesota, is serving. Double hit called on the Pirates. I believe it was on Gwen Clark. Coach Condon talking to her. Point for the Bearcats. Sorensen to Howitt. Marinova behind her back to Clark. Clark hit it very, very well. However, Nottingham and Ayers were both there. Goes down, hits off of either Rimlinger. No, hits off of Marinova. It goes in the net. Point for the Bearcats. Bearcats slowly climbing back. Marinova to Vidovich. Vidovich's kill is in. Very, very nice play by the senior. For some reason, the entire back line of the Bearcats thought it was going to go out, but it easily stayed in by about 3 or 4 feet. Point for the Pirates. 22-16 Pirate lead. Casey Howitt set to serve. Howitt to Camps. Camps with the long. That was out. As Camps can't control of it. As Wasik goes, as LaRocca goes diving for it, Wasik runs after it, hits it over. It goes over the net. However, it was outside the stick. Out of bounds. Points for the Pirates. Howitt, knuckleball serve. LaRocca with the quick set over. Pirates are not full. Vidovich is there. Sorensen to LaRocca. To Nottingham. Vidovich is there once again. As Richards from the Pirates and Ayers go up for it. Ayers easily tips it over for the Pirates. Falls at the feet of Richards. Point for the Bearcats. 23-17 Bearcat lead. Camps set to serve. Camps to Vidovich. To Marinova. Marinova with the quick set over. The entire Bearcat team thought she was going to go with the set. as Bevelow took off behind her. Bearcats easily fooled. Game point here for the Pirates as Marinova set to serve. To Sorensen, to LaRocca, to Wasick. Wasick hits off the net as it bounces, runs down the net a little bit. Playing her angles very, very well. Point for the Bearcats as Bearcats trying to make a substitution in. Refs that get time to get it settled. Point for the Bearcats. 24-18 Pirate lead. Game point for the Pirates. Ferry serving. Vidovic to Marinova. To Bevelow. To Sorensen. Oh, as Stewart tips it over. This seems to be familiar territory for the Pirates as Pirates seem to gain a 7, 8, 9-point lead, and they slowly let them climb back. And it's now a 5-point lead for the Pirates over the Bearcats. This is the third or fourth time this has happened already in game one. Ferry. Vidovic dives for it to Marinova. Marinova cross court. The Bud with the big kill dives. As Sorensen goes diving for it, hits off the fist. Sales sends it up in the air. Game point for the Pirates as Pirates take game one, 25-19. Colton Hendricks here. We'll take a break as they switch sides. You're listening to Pirate Athletics. Colton Hendricks back here at the ARC Aquatic Recreation Center at Armstrong State University in Savannah, Georgia. Peach Belt volleyball action as Armstrong Atlantic State takes game one, 25-19 over the Lander University Bearcats. Stat sheet for the Bearcats: 4 kills, leading the Pirates is Kay Stewart with 4. For assists is Candace LaRocca with 7, and Diggs, number 3, Candace LaRocca, also with 5. For the Pirates, leading kills is Tori Bevelow with 3. Assists, Hannah Segabart with 3, and Marina Marinova with 5. And Casey Howard with 6 digs. As the first point goes to the Pirates. Vidovic still serving for the Pirates. That's how we ended the last game. That's how we ended game one. Vidovic is blocked by Marinova, and Rimlinger sends it over her head. Wasset goes diving for it as the ball hits off the ceiling. Point for the Pirates. 2-1 Pirate lead. Vidovich still serving for the Pirates. Vidovich to Camps. To LaRocca. To Ayers. Ayers is denied by Clark and Rimlinger. However, it falls on their side of the net at their feet. No good. Point for the Bearcats. Sorensen set to serve for Bearcats. Sorensen to Howitt. To Marinova. Rimlinger fists it over as it hits the Bearcat players in the shoulders. Goes right over the net. Point for the Pirates. 3-1 Pirate lead here early in game 2. Howitt. Sorensen, that would have gone out if she wouldn't have touched it. To LaRocca to Ayers, tips it over. Howitt's there. The Marinova sends it over. The Bevelo wasn't a good set. Bevelo still gets it over though. Ayers, LaRocca to Ayers. Ayers denied. LaRocca sends a quick set over. Howitt is there to Marinova behind the back to Rimlinger. Rimlinger hits it to Wasik. Camps over Marinova. Rimlinger sets it up for Bevelo. Bevelo kind of punches it over. LaRocca to Ayers. Ayers is tipped by Richards. They can't control it. Howitt goes diving for it. Point for the Bearcats. Camp serving for Bearcats. The Vidovich. Marinova behind her back. Rimlinger with the kill. Reza trickles along the net. LaRocca tips it over. Richards is there. Players go diving for it. Nottingham sends it over. Nottingham denied. Once again goes for it. Vidovich. Pirates called over the line, over the net. Point for the Bearcats. Camp still serving. 3-3 tie here. Bearcats on the quick comeback. Vidovich. It's Marinova. Bevelo. Bevelo hits off the stick. She definitely did not time that jump right as it was on the way down. She was falling away from it. Just kind of swings at it and definitely did not have the right angle as it hits the net and comes back. Points. The Bearcats. Bearcats with the early 4-3 lead. Camps still serving. Vidovich to Marinova over to Bevelo. Marinova is hit for the double hit. Not really sure what the ref saw. Coach Condon not too happy with it either. Looked like a clean set to me, but it is the call. Camp still serving. 5-3 Bearcat lead. Bevelo off her elbows. It's Marinova to Bevelo. Bevelo with the kill. It is out. Sorry for the pause, trying to see what Coach Condon is. Coach Condon is talking to the refs. Coach Condon not liking the calls whatsoever. The kill from Bevelo looked good from back here. Coach Condon thinking the same way. And also the double hit, the call to Marinova looked like a clean set. However, 2 points given to the Bearcats makes it a completely different ball game. As the crowd showing their displeasure with officiating as well. Pirates started out with a 3-0 lead. All of a sudden it goes to 3-3. Now it is 6-3. Bearcat lead. Bearcats crawling to score 6 unanswered points. Coach Condon still talking to the officials. Coach Condon is shrugging his shoulders. Camp still serving. Camps. Vidovich goes diving for it. Very nice. Vidovich with a very, very nice dig. However, she hit it a little too far. It was an easy setup. Almost from a setter off for the Bearcats. For the Bearcats. 7-3. Bearcat lead. Camps starving. Vidovich to Marinova to Bevelo. Long. Camps is there. To LaRocca. To Nottingham. Nottingham's kill is long. Looked like it was tipped. It was not. Good call by the officials. Point for the Pirates. Coach Condon is still talking to his players. Natalie Edgeworth coming in for Michelle Rimlinger to serve. A little bit of confusion on the Pirates sideline. Hopefully they can straighten it out, get out of the 7-4 hole early in game 2. Edgeworth to Nottingham to LaRocca to Kay Stewart. Once again, Kay Stewart having her presence felt. Just nasty, nasty domination above the net. Point for the Bearcats. As some more Pirate faithful make their way in, dressed like a Pirate. Nottingham serving. Excuse me, I apologize. That's Ferry. Marinova, Bevelo. Bevelo's kill was kind of off balance. However, Kay Stewart and LaRocca were there. Tips off of them, goes out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. Take them all day long. 8-5 Pirate lead. Tori Bevelo set to serve. Bevelo camps to LaRocca behind her head to Nottingham. Nottingham is denied by Vidovich, sending it down to the face of LaRocca from her knees. That could have been dangerous. Point for the Pirates. Bevelo serving 8-6. Bearcat lead. Bevelo's serve is out. A service error for the Pirates. Talked about this earlier. That's been their Achilles heel this entire season. Lander with 2 in the first game. The Pirates with 0 in game 1. Edgeworth to Marinova. Vidovich. Vidovich with authority sends the ball. Somebody check the floor for a dent. Point for the Pirates. 9-7. Bearcat lead. Pirates taking game 1 25-19. Bearcats leading game 2 9-7. Brendis Budd serving. Budd to LaRocca to Stewart. I apologize. To Clark. Clark hits off the net. If Clark's kill would have not hit off the net, there were multiple Bearcat players. However, the luck from it hitting off the net, is no good, or makes it easy for the Pirates. Brendis Budd serving. As Sorensen hits it over. Marinova to Clark. Clark sends it over. It is in. Point for the Pirates. Marinova. Serve is long. Point for Bearcats. 11-9 Bearcat lead. Howitt to Marinova. Marinova is definitely called for the lift. See that all the way up here. LaRocca serving to Vidovich to Marinova. Good clean set this time. And Clark back to Marinova, over to Vidovich. Vidovich gets a kill. Over to Marinova. Marinova just kind of punches it over. Excuse me, that was Vidovich. LaRocca to Ayers. Ayers is blocked. LaRocca give it another go. This time to Sorensen. Sorensen is blocked by Clark. And Rimlinger, however, it's sent out of bounds. Point for the Bearcats. As LaRocca still serving. LaRocca serve is long. Point for the Pirates. 13-10. Bearcat lead. Vidovich serving to Camps. To LaRocca. To Sorensen. Punches it over. Vidovich is there. To Marinova. Marinova once again called for the double hit. Coach Condon just gets up and heads his way towards the exits. Can't really blame him. A little bit of ridiculous calling, but it's the way the dice rolls. Clark. Sorensen to LaRocca. LaRocca with the long set. Beautiful, beautiful play by LaRocca, seeing the gap in the back half. Back line playing too far up. Vidovich goes running for it. Can't get there in time. Points for the Pirates. Howitt to Marinova. Marinova with Rimlinger tips it over. Double hit. Not called. Doesn't matter. Goes out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. Howitt to Sorensen to LaRocca. LaRocca over to Ayers. Ayers with the easy kill as it hits off, as it deflects off Pirate players. As the ball sends up towards us over here in the production corner. Camp serving for the Bearcats. Camp to Vidovich, to Marinova. Marinova set it behind her head. Rimlinger was not ready. Rimlinger just stood there flat-footed. No communication whatsoever between the Pirates, as it's an easy point for the Bearcats. (17-11) Bearcat lead here late in the game two. Vidovich, whistles blow. The referees were not ready. Seems to be the theme so far of this match. That's Pirate Faithful trying to get their girls up. Camps serving. As off the net, Vidovich is there. Marinova over to Bevelo with the kill. However, Wasik is there. Once again, Bevelo giving it another go. Wasik is there. Wasik and Kay Stewart. Point for the Bearcats. Coach Condon wanting a timeout. We'll take one with him. You are listening to Pirate Athletics. Colin Hendricks back here at the ARC Aquatic Recreation Center at Armstrong Volleyball University in beautiful Savannah, Georgia. Peach Belt volleyball action as Lander University Bearcats taking on Armstrong University Pirates. Pirates taking game one 25-19. Bearcats leading game two 18-11. Bevelo with the kill. It is tipped. It goes backwards. LaRocca there to Nottingham. Nottingham sends it over. Marinova behind her back to Rimlinger, flat-footed once again. Rimlinger can't seem to time her jumps. She got lucky off of that one. She got very, very lucky off of that one. Coach Condon telling Marinova to communicate where she's going. That could have been disastrous. Pirates got lucky that the Bearcats cannot control the ball. 18-12 Pirate lead as Edgeworth set to serve. To Nottingham. Nottingham hits it over. To LaRocca. LaRocca sends it over. Point for the Bearcats. Point for the Pirates as Edgeworth is still serving. Camps to LaRocca with the kill over to Stewart. Richards is there, hitting it around a bunch of times. Mass chaos. Sorensen finally sends it over to Marinova, to Richards. Richards, it's tipped. Back to Marinova. Richards, give it another go. Tips it over. As Bevelo tips over to Marinova. Marinova to Vidovich from the back line. Sends it over. Diving body. Sends it towards the bleachers. Very, very nice set of very, very nice volleyball being played by the Pirates right now. Making their way back from an 18-11. From an 18-11 deficit, now 18-14. Bearcat lead. Edgeworth still serving. LaRocca to Wasik. Wasik sends it over. Vidovich goes diving for it. Cannot get it. Seems to be that the Pirates' back line keeps shifting up more and more as volleys happen. Bearcats noticing that and taking advantage of the wide open backcourt. Can't tell who's serving for Bearcats. Ferry. The Marinova to Bevelo. Blocked. Howard is there, however. Bearcats call for reaching over the net. Good call there. Easy point for the Pirates. Now Coach Decker questioning the officiating. I don't care as long as it's bad calls on both sides. Can't really complain. Bevelo with the long, just arrogant sail of a serve. Nowhere close to the corner. Actually sent it over the head of the judge in the corner. Assistant softball coach Brittany Walker. As she just kind of watches it sails over like a home run in the left field. Edgeworth to Marinova to Vidovich to Camps. LaRocca goes sliding for it like into first base. No good, can't get to it as Clark makes her way in for Howitt and Bud in her way for Casey Richards. Pirates on the comeback, 20-16. Bearcat lead. Pirates fighting their way back. Bud serving. LaRocca's denied by Vidovich. Easy height advantage. LaRocca only 5'4" versus senior Rennie Vidovich, 6'0". It doesn't take a genius to figure out. Vidovich does win that one 9 times out of 10 in almost any sport. Especially one with height is a huge advantage. Bud. So Nottingham to LaRocca. LaRocca, Kay letting her know how she feels. Bevelo to Vidovich. Vidovich behind her back. It's tipped by Kay Stewart over to LaRocca. LaRocca sends it long. Sorensen is denied by Vidovich and Marinova. As Camp sends it over, Edgeworth goes rolling for it to Marinova, to Vidovich. Vidovich hits it over. Camps is there to Ferry, to Sorensen. She sends it over to Marinova, over to Clark. Clark gets it down. Camps goes diving for it. Very, very nice set of volleyball there by both squads. However, the Pirates come out on the point with the big kill by Gwen Clark, seeing the open hole going for it. As diving bodies go for it, they can't control it. 20-18. Bearcat lead as Pirates fighting their way back. Sorensen over to Bevelo, to Marinova, to Bevelo. Camps is there, to LaRocca, over to Sorensen. She's tipped by Marinova, to Bevelo, back to Marinova. Marinova with the high set to Clark is denied. Clark sends it over, however. Nottingham is there. Marinova to Clark once again. Camps is there, it hits off the net to LaRocca, to Sorensen. Sorensen is blocked by Vidovich and Marinova, however, it falls on this side of the net. Coach Condon arguing about something, not really sure what, as Richards comes in for Brendis Bud. Excuse me, Richards comes out, I apologize. Kay Stewart with the serve. Marinova behind her back to Vidovich. Vidovich is denied, however, Bevelo's there to Marinova. Marinova to Bevelo with the long set over LaRocca. Sorensen, Howard is there. To Vidovich. Clark with the big stick, sends it over. Marinova's not there. 4 hit. Hits the net, comes back to Marinova. Marinova, no matter what happened, if she hit it or not, fell down. 4 hit. 4. Bearcats 22-18. Bearcat lead. Bevelo to Marinova. Vidovich. Just with the nasty kill. Perfect timing, perfect jump, perfect angle. Easy point for the Pirates. 22-19 Pirate leaders are still fighting their way back. Marinova set to serve to LaRocca. LaRocca sets it over to Ayers. Ayers is denied. Back over to Sorensen. Marinova happens to be there to Vidovich. Over to Clark. Clark just hits it in the middle of the net, nowhere near the top. Coach Condon wants a sub as Berkmeyer makes her way in. Berkmeyer and Rimlinger both make their way in for the Pirates. As she served, they were not ready. Refs gave no signal to serve whatsoever. 23-19, Bearcat lead. LaRocca serving to Howitt. Marinova to Berkmeyer. Berkmeyer sends it over. Camps is there to LaRocca, to Sorensen. Sorensen's denied by Vidovich. Sorensen set it up. However, Vidovich and Rimlinger were both there as it hits off the right hand of Vidovich, the only senior on the Pirate squad. out of San Pedro, California. Like we said, the only senior night tomorrow night, letting her presence be felt. DeCamps to LaRocca. LaRocca sends it to Ayers. It's tipped back. A little bit of chaos. Howard happens to be there, though. Marinova to Vidovich. Vidovich sends it over. Nottingham is there. To LaRocca. To Wasik. She's denied to Ayers. LaRocca over to Ayers. It is long. Marinova went to dive for it. It was to the right of her. She was on the right side. Very, very wise choice in not going for it as it was out by a couple feet. 23-21 Bearcat lead. As Sorensen sends it over to Howard. Howard just kind of punches it down. Not smart. Match point, game point here. Howitt to Marinova. No matter what happens, Clark sends it over. Very nice. However, Nottingham is there. It appeared that no matter what Clark did, it was going to be outside the stick. However, Clark did a very nice job of going for it. But Nottingham, knowing the angle, went for the only spot. Clark could go over. Very, very veteran move there. As the Bearcats take game 2, we have a 1-1 tie here. As the teams take a break to switch sides, we'll take one with them. You're listening to Pirate Athletics. Good evening, folks. Cortland Hendricks back here with Peach Belt volleyball action as Armstrong State University takes on Lander University. Both teams splitting the first two games. Pirates taking game one, 25-19. Lander University taking game two, 25-21. Both teams looking sharp on the defensive aspect. Couple of questionable officiating calls on both sides. However, they seem to be even out. Just got word from at the sports information department. Soccer playing Columbus State in Augusta is at a 0-0 tie with about 3 minutes left in the first half. The number 5 ranked Pirate soccer team in the conference is taking on number 1 ranked Columbus State, needing a victory to continue their season. As Marinova set to serve for the Pirates. Ayers sends it over. Howard dives for it, sends it to the net. Clark, Vidovich tries to hit it over behind her head. No good. First point for Bearcats, 1-0 Bearcat lead. Marinova, Rimlinger fists it over to Nottingham, to LaRocca, to Ayers. Ayers is blocked. Over to Sorensen, LaRocca behind her head to Wasik. Wasik is there. Howitt to Marinova, to Clark. Sends it long. 2-0 Bearcat lead. As LaRocca serving for Bearcats. LaRocca hits the net. Howitt dives for it. Marinova, Rimlinger to Camps. It is in. Camps cannot get it. Point for the Pirates. Vidovich serving. Vidovich sends it long and wide. Service error for the Pirates. Pirates didn't have any service errors in game one. However, they did have 3. 2 by Tori Bevelo and 1 by Marina Marinova in game 2. LaRocca to Camps. Marinova to Clark over Bevelo. Bevelo's, however, she's blocked by Kay Stewart. Nottingham sends it over. Vidovich diving for it, hits the net, falls on the wrong side. Point for the Bearcats. Sorensen serving. Marinova to Clark. LaRocca's there to Wasik, to Sorensen. Vidovich, Marinova to Rimlinger. The appeared that was not for her, it was for Bevelo. However, she sent it over anyway. Hits a stick. It is out. Coach Conan's still talking to the officials, not happy. LaRocca to Ayers, over to Howitt, to Marinova. Bevelo sends it. Camps and Sorensen are there. As Nottingham just reaches for it, hoping to come up with something. No good. Point for the Pirates. Pirates down 4-1, now back to 4-3. Bearcat lead, however. Howitt serving. Howitt to LaRocca. LaRocca to Richards. Richards can't control it. Nottingham, double hit, not called though. Marinova to Bevelo. Bevelo with the kills deflected off of Wasik. Wasik falls out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. 4-4 all. Howitt serving. Howitt to Camps. To LaRocca behind her back to Wasik. Wasik found a hole easily, wide open all across the back line. Seems to be the Pirates' easiest spot for the Bearcats to attack. It's worked almost every time. Story no different there. Points for the Bearcats. 5-4 Bearcat lead. Camps serving for the Bearcats. Camps playing libero this entire evening so far. out of Trinidad and Tobago. Camps to Bevelo, to Marinova, to Rimlinger. Rimlinger with the kill. Rimlinger faced her body towards the right side. However, she sends it down the left sideline. Very, very nice job on her part. Points for the Pirates. 5-5 all. Edgeworth to Sorensen, to LaRocca. It seemed like Richards reached over and just kind of grabbed it, and no lift called. Very, very odd play there. However, play keeps going. The Marinova to Bevelo, the Camps. LaRocca behind her back to Wasik. It's tipped. Vidovich is there. It's Marinova. Marinova to Richards. Double hit and a lift finally called as Camps runs into the booth, the scores table. Coach Condon letting the officials know he's still not happy with some of the calls. A couple of lifts could have been called on both teams. Really don't know why he's complaining. Pirates got away with a couple of them there, though. Edgeworth to Sorensen, to LaRocca, to to Stewart. Stewart's no good. Falls out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. 7-5 Pirate lead, fighting back still. Got to add on their lead. Edgeworth, Sorensen, to LaRocca, to Wasik. Wasik found a hole as Edgeworth goes diving to her right and Vidovich diving to her left. Falls in between them. Neither one can get to it. Point for the Bearcats. 7-6 Pirate lead still. As Ferry set to serve for the Bearcats. As a ball goes flying onto the court for some reason. Ferry set to serve for the Bearcats. 7-6 Pirate lead here in game 3. 1-1 of both teams splitting the first two games. Marinova to Bevelo. Bevelo with the big kill. However, Sorensen is there to Ferry. Over to Sorensen. Sorensen, their victory is short-lived as Sorensen just kind of bumps it into the net. About halfway up. No good. Falls down. Points for the Pirates. Bevelo to Camps. LaRocca behind her head. LaRocca called for the double hit. Marinova got called for it a couple times earlier. LaRocca called for it this time. Bevelo serving to Camps. To LaRocca. LaRocca and Kay Stewart not really communicating. LaRocca just sends it over her head. Stewart jumped for it, just kind of whiffed. No good. As Coach Decker wants a timeout, we'll take one with him. You're listening to Pirate Athletics. Colton Hendricks back here at the ARC Aquatic Recreation Center at Armstrong State University in Savannah, Georgia. Peach Belt volleyball action as Lander and Armstrong State University are both atop the Peach Belt Conference, splitting games 1 and 2. And the Pirates leading game 3, 10-6. Marinova, Vidovich with the kill. Camps goes kind of halfway down for it and a roll. Can't get to it. Point for the Pirates, 11-6. Pirate lead. As Bevelo set to serve for the Pirates. Said earlier, Bevelo, one of 3 players out of St. Louis, Missouri on both rosters combined. Kay Stewart sending it over. Marinova to Vidovich. Vidovich is a very, very pumped young lady. They said the only senior on the Pirates squad. Bevelo, knuckleball serve. Sorensen, LaRocca back to Sorensen, hits the net. Casey Richards got way off the ground. However, she's kind of held her hand out as it hits the net. Hits her hand, but it was through the net, so Pirate point, 13-6. Pirate lead. Bevelo still serving. Bevelo, the Camps to LaRocca, to Nottingham. It was long. Bevelo kind of just tried to get out of the way of it. Not smart play as she sends it out of bounds. That could have been an easy point for the Pirates. However, it goes the other way. Easy point for the Bearcats. 13-7, Pirate lead. As Nottingham serving for the Bearcats to Howitt. Marinova to Davidovich to Sorensen. LaRocca back to Sorensen. Sorensen is straight out just denied by the left hand of Marinova. Marinova and Richards both go up. Hits off the inside left hand of Marinova. Wham bam, no thank you ma'am as it falls down. Point for the Pirates. Clark to Vidovich. To Clark back. Sends it over. Nottingham's there. Double hit called on LaRocca. Game 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 double hits were called on Marinova. That is so far number 2 called on LaRocca here in Game 3. Bud set to serve for the Pirates. 15-7 Pirate lead. Bud to Ferry. To Sorensen. Pirate players are there. Clark with the kill. Deflects off of Case Stewart over to Sorensen. Point for the Pirates. Bud serving. Bud. Over to LaRocca. LaRocca to Case Stewart. Over to Marinova. Marinova to Vidovich. Over the head of Vidovich at the feet of Bud. Bud goes diving for it. Miscommunication between the Pirates. (16-8) Pirate lead as Case Stewart set to serve. Marinova sends it over. Case Stewart is there. She was running to her position. LaRocca sends it to Sorensen. Sorensen tips it over. Clark goes rolling for it. 16-9. Pirate lead. Point for the Bearcats. Case Stewart still serving. Stewart with a very quick jump serve. To Bevelo, to Marinova, cross court. To Clark. Clark tips it over. LaRocca's there. Clark back to Howitt as it bounces around on top of Howitt as she's on her back. Point for the Bearcats. Bearcats, their turn to slowly come back. Kay Stewart, to Marinova, to Bevelo. Bevelo's tip. Vidovich is there. Marinova, give it another go to Clark. Clark with the kill. It is good. However, Kay Stewart's there. Marinova tips it back over to her, though. Howitt to Marinova, to Clark. Give it another go. Tips it over. Sorensen's there. To LaRocca, to Sorensen. Tipped by Marinova. However, it falls out of bounds. Point for the Bearcats. Amy Burkmeyer makes her way in for Gwen Clark. Burkmeyer, the 5'9" junior outside hitter from Columbus Grove, Ohio, transfer from South Florida Community College. Burkmeyer there for the pass and the kill, making her presence felt early. Burkmeyer and Clark, both veteran players, both juniors. Clark decides to make Coach Condon giving praise to Burkmeyer by making her sit back on the bench after a nice defensive and offensive play. Marinova with the serve to LaRocca. To Ferry. Ferry, not really sure what she wanted to do with it, whether she wanted to pass it or set it. Another one was indecisive last-minute moves. Coach Decker wants a timeout. 18-11, Pirate lead. We'll take one with them. You're listening to Pirate Athletics. Colin Hendricks back here at the ARC Aquatic Recreation Center at Armstrong State University in Savannah, Georgia. Peach Belt volleyball action as Armstrong State University taking on the Lander Bearcats. Marinova serving to LaRocca. LaRocca over to Ayers. It appeared that Ayers' ball was just mishit and fell at her feet. However, Clark was there for the block, but it falls on the wrong side of the net. Points for the Bearcats. 18-12, Pirate lead. LaRocca serving to Howitt. Marinova behind her head to Vidovich. Vidovich tips it over. Camps is there. Very nice dig. LaRocca to Wasik to Marinova to Vidovich. Vidovich tips it over again with some backspin. Wasik is there. Passes it over to Sorensen. Sends it over. Marinova behind her head. Vidovich. Vidovich with the power that time. Nottingham is there to LaRocca. LaRocca to Wasik. Wasik is tipped. Dives. Wasik was blocked by Clark as it tips. Rimlinger goes diving for it. Pirates can't get to it. Point for the Bearcats. 18-13. Pirate lead. LaRocca serving. Howard is there to Marinova. Vidovich. Vidovich with the seal. Very, very nice. Vidovich with the kill. Straight to LaRocca. However, LaRocca didn't turn her arms the right way, and it just every angle has an opposite and exact angle. As it sends it out. Vidovich. Camps to LaRocca. Sorensen is denied by either the left hand of Clark or the right hand of Rimlinger as it falls down. Both will get the block. Point for the Pirates. 20-13 Pirate lead here in Game 3 as the Bearcats and the Pirates split Game 1 and Game 2. Pirates taking Game 1 and the Bearcats taking Game 2. Vidovich to Camps to LaRocca to Wasik is denied. Give it another go. Wasik over to Sorensen, flat-footed to Vidovich to Marinova, cross court to Bevla. Bevla with the big kill, sends it in with just a blur of speed. It was in as the line judge calls it in over in front of Bearcat bench. No argument there. Must have been pretty good. I really couldn't see it. It was just a flash and it was down. Vidovich serving to LaRocca. LaRocca is denied. Wasik sends it over out of bounds easily. 22-13 Pirate lead here. Both these teams atop the Peach Belt Conference at 6-2 overall. Pirates win today. They clinch the Peach Belt Conference, or at least a tie of the Peach Belt Conference. As Vidovich sends it over, Nottingham goes rolling for it. Vidovich, like we said a couple times now, is the only senior on this Pirate roster. She is showing some raw emotion, playing at a whole nother level that she has this whole season. Sorensen sends it over as it goes through the rafters and through the basketball apparatus for the goal, and the backboard falls through. Pirates can't get to it. Bearcat point, 23-14, Pirate lead. As Sorensen set to serve. Sorensen to Howitt. It's Marinova behind her head to Clark. Clark with the kill. It is tipped. Sorensen goes diving for it. LaRocca over to Camps. Camps just sends it over to Clark. Clark calls Marinova off. Marinova back to Clark. Clark tips it over. Camps is there. To LaRocca over to Nottingham. Nottingham is blocked. It hits the stick and falls back. A little bit of confusion among the refs. They got it down now. Point for the Bearcats. 23-15. Pirate lead. Sorensen serving to Vidovich. To Marinova to Rimlinger as it falls down. LaRocca is there to Wasik. Wasik called for the double hit. It is now 3-3 on questionable double hit calls. However, it is in the Pirates. Pirates are the benefactor this time. Howitt serving. Sorensen. LaRocca behind her head to Wasik. Wasik is just straight out denied by Bevelo. Bevelo goes up. Richards barely goes up, and that is game point for the Pirates as Pirates take game 3, 25-15. Well, as the teams switch sides, we'll take a break with them. You're listening to Pirate Athletics. Cortland Hendricks back here at the AARC Aquatic Recreation Center at Armstrong State University in Savannah, Georgia. Pirate volleyball action as they take on the Lander Bearcats. Both these teams atop the Peach Belt Conference. Armstrong taking Game 1 and Game 3, 25-19 and 25-15. However, the Bearcats on the winning side of Game 2, 25-21. As we were conducting as me and the SID and the production crew were checking out the score for the soccer game. Earlier it said 0-0 with about 3 minutes into the first half instead of 3 minutes remaining in the first half. We think the game before that went into overtime. Checking the live stats on the internet, neither one of them have updated. It still says 0-0 with 3 minutes left, with the last shot being Thordy's Petterstotter hitting the crossbar. So we'll try to get into that before we leave our broadcast. Try to give you an update. As Armstrong Atlantic State University is just 25 points away from clinching at least a tie of the Peach Belt regular season title, as Howitt passes it to Marinova. Marinova to Clark. Clark with the kill. It is down over to Howitt. To Marinova. To Rimlinger. Rimlinger tips it over to Wasik. Wasik is called for the double hit. And yet the theme still seems to be questionable calls by the officials, but nobody seems to be arguing with it, so I guess they approve. As Vidovich serves for the Pirates. Vidovich to Camps. To LaRocca behind her back to Ayers. Ayers sends it to Marinova. Marinova passes it over to Bevelo. Bevelo is money as she sends it over with authority. Point for the Pirates. Pirates with a quick, not easy, but a quick 2-0 lead over the Bearcats. Vidovich over to Camps. To LaRocca, to Sorensen. Sorensen actually goes rolling for it. As Vidovich goes rolling for it, the ball was very clearly in. However, the line judge calling it out. It was in by a good foot or two. Very questionable, but it's one of those things you just got to say whatever. As Nottingham sends it over to Howitt, to Marinova, to Rimlinger. Rimlinger's blocked, backed over to Howitt. Marinova behind her head to Clark. Sends it in, and it falls down. Very, very nice offensive play by Clark and Marinova. Point for the Pirates. 4-0 Pirate lead. Vidovich still serving. Vidovich with a knuckleball serve to Camps. LaRocca behind her head to Ayers. Ayers sends it as it deflects off a Howitt and goes out of bounds. Point. First point for the Bearcats. 4-1 Pirate lead. As Sorensen is serving to Bevelo, to Marinova, to Clark. Clark, it is tipped. Sorensen over to LaRocca, to Nottingham. Nottingham sends it down. It is called out once again. Coach Decker and the volleyball team of Lander calling for a tip. They're not going to get it. Another very questionable call by the officials. 5-1 Pirate lead. Howitt to Wasik. Wasik to Howitt, to Marinova, to Rimlinger. Rimlinger just with authority sends it down as all the Pirate players seem to be showing guns up, meaning they're shooting very well. Every time one of them gets a kill down, throwing their guns up at the hips. Howitt serving to Sorensen, almost a knuckleball to Wasik. Marinova's there. To Richards, miscommunication among the Pirates. Vidovich is there, very nice. To Marinova, to Bevelo. Bevelo sends it over. Camps is there, sends it straight up to LaRocca, over to Nottingham. Vidovich is there, to Marinova, over to Bevelo. Bevelo on the way down, mistimed the jump, sends it into the net. Point. The Bearcats 6-2 Pirate lead. The Pirates will be turning into action tomorrow afternoon. Final regular season home match. Final season match. They will be taking on USC Aiken tomorrow at 3 p.m. Senior night. The only senior, like we said earlier, is Rindy Vidovich. And she seems to be playing just with raw emotion tonight, probably having her game of the season so far. She missed many of the first games this season with a back ailment. She's making her presence felt tonight. She's playing with raw emotion and very, very spirited tonight. As Edgeworth's serve goes into the net and rolls over. Richards is there with the kill. It is in. It is in. The Bearcats saying it was out. Coach Decker showing her displeasure, getting a yellow card by just simply screaming. Come on, make the call. Coach Condon wanting the girls to huddle up. Kind of too late now as the girls were laughing it off. Edgeworth set to serve. Edgeworth to Camps, to LaRocca, over to Nottingham, and Nottingham is denied as the big girls up front are like a brick wall tonight, not letting anything by. Points for the Pirates as the Pirate faithful getting behind them now, standing up and cheering. Showing these girls some emotion, getting them pumped up. Edgeworth serving, 9-2 Pirate lead here. Edgeworth over to Sorensen. Kay Stewart. Kay Stewart sends it long, playing the right angle to send it long. Point for the Pirates. As Hannah Segabart still tender on the right ankle, the one she injured earlier this year. Daniels, she has not played since then. I don't think she will. Possibly, if we can, save her for tomorrow or for the tournament. Coach Condon telling the girls to calm down a little bit. 10-3 Pirate lead. As Ferry set to serve for the Bearcats. Ferry to Howitt, over to Marinova, over to Bevelo. A little bit of chaos over the Bearcats side. They get it over though. Howitt, Marinova behind her back to Richards. Marinova sent it too far across the net. Nottingham was there just to kill it down. Almost a set for the other team. No good. Point for the Bearcats. Ferry serving, 10-4 Pirate lead. Ferry to Howitt, to Marinova, to Vidovic. Vidovic just kind of punches it over to LaRocca. LaRocca, to Vidovic with the kill, down. Ferry's there to Camps. She sends it over to Sorensen, to Edgeworth, to Marinova, to Vidovic, give it another go, down as it falls, as Ferry goes diving for it. Ferry got underneath it, just sent a kind of a line drive. Neither one of the Bearcat players get to it. Couldn't control it. Point for the Pirates. 11-4 Pirate lead. Bevelo to Camps, to Ferry. Oh, back over to Camps, to Edgeworth, to Marinova. Marinova to Richards. Richards tried the quick kill, bounces off the net, no good. A couple times they've tried that, has not been very successful for the Pirates. So another quick serve by the Bearcats, by Nottingham, to Vidovic. Vidovic with the kill. Camps is there. She rolls down to LaRocca, to Sorensen. Howitt appeared to have tipped it. I even heard the thud from here. No call. No call made by the officials. They're calling that out of bounds. All the Bearcats giving the T symbol for a tip. Not the case, though. As Bud set to serve. LaRocca to Nottingham deep. To Vidovic. Vidovic sends it back. Appeared to be over the net. I guess not, though. To Clark with the kill. Off Camps. As Camps had a self-defense more than defense. Self-defense more out of volleyball skill. Sends it out of bounds. Point for the Pirates. 13-5 Pirate lead here in game 4. Coach Decker calls the timeout. We'll take them with him. You're listening to Pirate Athletics. Colton Hendricks back here at the ARC Aquatic Recreation Center at Armstrong State University in Savannah, Georgia. Peach Belt volleyball action as Armstrong State University taking on Lander Bearcats. As the crowd at Pirate Night is trying to get a wave going. A couple guys dressed up like a Pirates, and I believe the family of Rindy Vidovic are in town for senior night trying to get it together. As Marinova just denies the offensive attack by the Bearcats. Like we said, both these teams are atop the Peach Belt Conference standings, the Pirates win tonight, they at least clinch a tie for the regular season title. This is the most I have seen the Pirates just play with raw emotion and skill tonight. LaRocca is long. LaRocca's set over to K. Stewart is long. 15-5 Pirate lead. Pirates taking game 1 and game 3, however, losing in game 2 to the Bearcats. Pirates are simply 10 points away. As the fans are trying to chant, "It's great to be a Pirate," to the tune of "It's great to be a Florida Gator or Georgia Bulldog." It seems to be working tonight. As Pirates make subs. Another service ace for the Pirates. As K. Stewart sends it over to Bevelo. Marinova to Vidovic. Vidovic just tips it over. LaRocca's there. It's a ferry over to Sorensen. Sorensen tips it over. Very nice play by the Bearcats there. As the Bearcats now score 2 straight, 15-7. Pirate lead still. K. Stewart to Howard. Howard dives for a very nice dig by Marinova. Should be by Howard to Marinova, then to Clark. Clark kind of laughing as she sent that one over. She's telling her teammates, "My bad." She laughed and kind of did a little squeamish face. She didn't mean to do that. It's okay though. 15-8. Pirate lead. Bearcats get the point. K. Stewart over to Bevelo. Marinova behind her back to Vidovic. Vidovic, very, very nice kill. She played her angle very nice. Goes all the way across court as Ferry goes diving for it. Very, very nice. Very, very nice offensive attack indeed by the senior. Point for the Pirates. 16-8. Pirate lead. Marinova serving. The Camps. To LaRocca. To Ayers. Ayers just tips it over. Howitt, I swear that hit the ground. I guess not. Very nice play by the Pirates. The Sorensen tips it over. Marinova's there. Vidovic. Bevelo. Off a Ferry. Back to Clark. Clark tips it to Sorensen. Over to Camps. To Bevelo. To Marinova tips it over to Vidovic. Vidovic sends it down as Nottingham goes diving for it. Sends it out of bounds. No good. Points for the Pirates. 17-9 Pirate lead here. Both these teams 6-2 in the conference. Pirates 21-6 overall. Atlanta 29 overall. Clark sends it down as it hits off the net. Very, very nice try by the junior out of Superior, Colorado. As the Rockets set to serve, however, Berkmeyer making her way back in for Clark. LaRocca to Howitt, to Marinova, to Rimlinger. Rimlinger with a very nice kill. Kind of short arm, chicken winged it over. It goes down, point for the Pirates as Clark makes her way back in for Berkmeyer. Vidovic to Camps. Very nice dig by Camps. Wasick just kind of tips it over. Backspin rolls over the net. Falls down. Points for the Bearcats. As the fans still getting behind the Pirates. And just like a Pirate night. Bevelo. Clark is tipped. She's there though with the dig off her knees to Marinova. Behind her back. She'll be behind her head to Vidovic. Vidovic with the mean kill off of LaRocca and his tip sends back towards the wall. No good. Point for the Pirates. 19-10 Pirate lead here. Pirates mainly 6 points away from at least a tie of the Peach Belt regular season title. As Coach Decker, I believe, calls a timeout. 19-10 Pirate lead. We'll take a timeout. We'll take them with them. You're listening, Pirate Athletics. Cortland Hendricks back here. Aquatic Recreation Center, the ARC, ARC, at Armstrong Volleyball University in Savannah, Georgia here tonight for Pirate volleyball action against Lander Bearcats. Pirates merely 6 points away from taking, or at least clinching, a piece of the Peach Belt title. Very questionable call there. Coach Condon, the Pirate faithful, letting the ref know exactly how I felt. A lift was called, I believe, on Howitt or Marinova, one of the two. Pirates seem to have it under control, but it's okay. 11-19, a Pirate lead. Bearcats serving by Camps. Bevelo to Marinova. So Richards tipped off one of the Bearcat players to Nottingham. Vidovic sends it straight up in the air. Marinova settles it down to Bevelo. Bevelo is blocked. Howitt to Marinova. Vidovic from the back line down as his tip falls down. Vidovic having probably the game of the season here tonight. It's Edgeworth makes her way in for Michelle Rimlinger. Edgeworth serving. Edgeworth. Edgeworth with the pass over to Marinova. It's Bevelo. Bevelo killed his block, however. There's Bevelo once again. Off of Sorensen, sends it into the stands. Very, very nice offensive attack by the Pirates here tonight so far. Coach Condon telling his girls to calm down. Haven't won this thing yet. 21-11 Pirate lead. Edgeworth to Camps. To LaRocca over to Wasek. However, Pirates are there. A jump ball situation. Not really sure what the call was there. To LaRocca over to Nottingham. Nottingham gets it down as Vidovic goes rolling for it. Very, very nice try by the senior. As Pirate people seem to get out their keys. Ferry. Over to Marinova, over to Bevelo. Bevelo is denied. Marinova's there, though. To Bevelo. Vidovic going to send it long over, and she does. Very nice play by the Pirates. To Camps. LaRocca behind her head. LaRocca is called for the double hit. Bearcat players in total disagreement. 22-12 Pirate lead. Definitely, you cannot deny the fact there's been questionable officiating for both sides. Earlier, it seemed like the Pirates were on the bad end. Now, possibly the Bearcats. LaRocca sends it over to Stewart. Stewart has a very, very nice technique of just hang time and going forward, jumping 2 or 3 feet behind where she wants to and using her full body weight and force behind it. Point forward, the Bearcats 22-13, Pirate lead. Pirate faithful shaking their keys once again. Bevelo to Marinova. To Vidovic. Vidovic tips it over. Marinova's there, though. Back over to Vidovic. Vidovic fits it over to Camps. To LaRocca. LaRocca sends it over. Bearcats not exactly sure what the official's call was. They kind of looked. Point for the Bearcats. 22-14 Pirate lead. Nottingham with the serve. To Bevelo. Service ace for Nottingham. Miscommunication among the Pirates as they seem to be collapsing now. All they need is 3 more points to clinch a piece of the PBC title. Bevelo, Marinova over to Vidovic. Vidovic gets it down. Camps as Sorensen goes diving for it. The bleachers got it in her way. Wasn't going to go rolling up into the bleachers, risk injury for that one. 23-15 as Brendan Budd and Gwen Clark make their way into the game for Casey Richards and Casey Howitt. Budd serving, 23-15, a Pirate lead. So Nottingham from her knees. To Bevelo, to Marinova, to Clark. Clark with the big kill. Camps is there, though, to LaRocca. LaRocca sends it over. Vidovic once again with the kill. Up to game 3, Vidovic. Vidovic has got 24 total attacks and 9 kills, hitting .375%. It's very, very nice so far on the night and with 0 errors. That was up to game 4. Vidovic to Marinova. Vidovic is down with another kill as it falls to the feet of the Bearcats. Pirates take this one, then they have clinched at least a piece of the PBC title. Pirates will be back in action tomorrow at 3 p.m. as they take on the USC Aiken tomorrow at 3 p.m. as senior night. Pirates take Lander in 4 games. We will see you tomorrow. You're listening to Pirate Athletics.